But yeah, let's get into the GCW show. So we watched most of it. We did skip a few matches. The opener, we had Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne versus Dante Leon and Ninja Mac. This was a pretty decent, fast-paced match. But Ninja Mac is, though he does look a little goofy with the ninja mask, he is a really athletic and talented guy. He is the one who got the pinfall. He did some really cool stuff, as he kind of always does in his matches. Definitely someone to watch out for if you just want to see a nice high energy match with really nice athleticism.
Next level high flyer for sure. I like Ninja Mac a lot. I'm very, very, very much into Jordan Oliver. I like Jordan Oliver a lot. I want to share with you guys what what got me into Jordan Oliver, because at first I didn't want to like him. I think he looks kind of weird, and he's sometimes he doesn't wrestle a way that I like, but I get Jordan Oliver. And at first I didn't get Jordan Oliver, and I wanted to just not like him. And then I just went on this rabbit hole one night, and I was looking at Jordan Oliver promos, and I was watching some of his matches, and then I figured it out. I got it. He's just he's like a Zoomer character. He's like Justin Bieber if he was a wrestler, and he cuts promos like that, and he has a foul mouth, and he has kind of a high-pitched voice, so he's like a little shit. And I am a Jordan Oliver fan, and I think that you're going to see some fucking awesome shit from him one day. GCW is a place where a lot of guys cut their teeth and they come up, and you can see people in their most raw state, learning and getting better every single time you see them, and just growing as a wrestler. And Jordan Oliver is one of those guys that I'm telling you right now to keep your eyes on.
These are four guys I've never seen before, right? Because I'm very new to the GCW scene. I don't know anything about it. But these four were definitely they had some spark in them. They were going for some crazy stuff. I liked the who was the kid the young one. What was his name?
Dante Leon.
No.
I think it's Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne.
Yeah, Nick Wayne. Okay, yeah.
I've never seen him before. He's very small. He was a very small guy.
He's only 16.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. So I remember you guys saying that last night, and yeah, he was kind of cool. I liked him. He's got a little spark in him. This was definitely a match that I thought was, I didn't know what to expect going into it, because it was my first time watching, and it was cool. It was like a car wreck just watching it. It was not in a bad way, in the best possible way, obviously.
GCW has the best clusterfucks. They're not necessarily great wrestling matches sometimes in these multi-man matches, but there's definitely something to see in every single one of them, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to point out something about Nick Wayne, and this is something I've talked to Koss about before, or to EOD about before, but Nick Wayne is very skinny. He's small. But a lot of guys that are coming up, like I said, they're learning, they're growing as wrestlers and stuff like that. They're working on their bodies. They're working out, and they're trying to get bigger. And over time, you'll see that. But right now, they're gonna look like skinny dudes. Will Osprey. We talked about Will Osprey and how fucking awesome he is, and he looks great now. But man, he posted a picture a couple weeks ago on Twitter.
Oh God,
of
yeah.
When he first started, he said, "I didn't have a gym membership, but I was wanting to learn." Blah blah blah. And he looked exactly like Nick Wayne, a really skinny dude, maybe skinnier. He might have been skinnier than Nick Wayne.
He looked really dorky.
Yeah, he looked kind of dorky, and but people got to grow. You got to come into your own and learn about yourself and come into your own. And that's what you see in GCW. You see a lot of these skinny guys that may or may not fill out one day, but Will Osprey is a good example of somebody that you shouldn't discount people just because of their size or something like that. Not exactly. You, but you in general. Yeah.
No. I get it. Because I remember watching early Will Osprey. I'm like, this kid's small, but he's doing crazy stuff. So
now he's the best in the world.
He really is.
Yes, that was that, and I mean, I kind of want to touch a little bit on kind of what you're talking about with Jordan Oliver and the character thing, but I think it kind of ties into this sort of consistent theme with GCW, and we'll kind of touch on it in some of these other matches, but I will say that particular character that he had is kind of eroded away since he kind of turned babyface, and I think one of the things that GCW does really need to work on, and we'll talk about this with a couple of the
We can talk about that now. I have a lot to say about that. I know exactly where you're going.
But I mean, it ties directly into one of the ones later too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just that I don't know what it is, but like a lot of these guys don't really commit to the character that well, or like outside of like someone like Nick Gage, who just has sort of this organic character going for him. But some of them, they're afraid to like really like dig in their heels with it. And I mean, I guess I can kind of bury the plot a bit with it with like Gringo Loco a little bit, is that he like works the whole match as a heel when we talk about that match. But like at the end is just like shaking hands, like cracking open a beer with his opponent. Yeah. And it's just like, you don't always need to be like friendly competition.
I agree with that 100%. I think that they just need somebody to really put everything together. I think GCW is a diamond in the rough. It's the cool promotion to like right now. It really is. They're probably the third most relevant company in America right now. And they've got a lot of rough edges, and I think they're fantastic. And I wouldn't say that they need to change like in a way that doesn't make them GCW, but they need somewhere to really like put it together. Like I would love to see them bring in a guy like Gabe Sapolsky, who just got released by WWE, who's probably one of the best bookers of all time. Very underrated dude. Like he could come in and like help guys like get into their characters and realize their characters, and help them with their storylines and their booking to have things make sense and be consistent. Like they need somebody to like help them put everything together. And I think they're headed that way, but they're not there yet. But that doesn't mean that the shows aren't enjoyable either. They're great matches, but
yeah,
you know, I think that is just probably GCW's biggest problem right now.
Yeah, so then we skipped the next couple matches and we got back to Speedball Mike Bailey versus Jimmy Lloyd. Now this match was definitely really fun. Jimmy Lloyd's I think it's mostly just that he kind of looks a little awkward when he does things, so he just kind of, it is, you know, a little amusing seeing him do certain moves. But Mike Bailey is definitely a really good high flyer, and I think, you know, that's nowhere is that better highlighted than close to the finish, where he goes on the top rope as Jimmy Lloyd is diving from the ring, doesn't lose like a bit of balance, and then does a moonsault from the top rope onto the outside, destroying some chairs and stuff like that. It was awesome. And then he wins with a spinning kick to Jimmy's head, and then I think a shooting star press again on his back, and wins. This was a really fun match, though.
I think Speedball Mike Bailey is somebody to watch this year. I think he's about to he's on the verge of his big breakout, breakout year. People are gonna be talking about him like crazy this year. I woke up this morning and people were raving about a match that he had with ACH, who's also amazing, in a company. I can't remember the name of the company, so forgive me, but I can't wait to watch that match because he was amazing in this match. He fucking blew me away. And I've heard of Mike Bailey for a long time, but I've never like sat down to watch a match of his. So it was really cool to watch him, and his reputation fits exactly what I saw. Like I wasn't let down by at all. He's very good, and he's somebody to watch for sure.
So I didn't watch the match. I was not around when we were watching the match. I was making some eggs. But, you know, one thing I do know is that Mike Bailey's the homie for liking our tweet. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike. I think, is he the first wrestler that's liked our tweet? That's cool.
I think so.
That's cool. Hey, yeah. Yo, Mike.
You'll always remember our first.
Yo, Mike, if you want to come on the show, man, we'd love to interview you, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
We like your work.
Yeah, so that was really good, and this was an impressive showcase of particularly Mike Bailey's abilities. I definitely want to see more of this guy in the future. And then next up, we had Psycho Clown versus Gringo Loco in a Falls Count Anywhere.
This match fucking ruled.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen too many like luchador style Falls Count Anywhere matches, and we should see more of them. This was good.
Yeah, this was really awesome. I think like Gringo Loco is like an unsung guy in the business, and he's really good. But he's another one of those guys that I think that would like really benefit from somebody like taking him under his wing and like help him realize his character. And I know he's been around for a long time, and you can tell he's really, really good. But yeah, this match ruled. There's not much to say. It was bloody. It was violent. It had good wrestling. It had good psychology. It had crazy high spots. This is everything you would want in a wrestling match, straight up. And it was awesome.
I was gonna say probably the coolest high spot was when Gringo Loco does a I can't remember what he has some move off of the top of a goalpost that happened to be in the
Yeah, that was so
the venue.
Cool.
So
That
was
was a senton off the top. Yeah.
This venue, it's in Dallas. I've been there before, and it's like a crazy it's like a soccer. It's like a soccer, not arena, but like a soccer indoor soccer place. And yeah, dude, that shit is high as fuck. Like, it's really high. So, and it's crazy that he jumped from there. Like, it didn't even do it justice. I wasn't there for this show, but it didn't. I know for a fact that the camera didn't do it justice because I've been there and that shit is high up there.
This was my first time seeing Gringo Loco, and not my first time seeing Psycho Clown. I've seen him like on like AAA and stuff. But I did not anticipate how good he is. Like, he's really good, and I think that like they're sending him out to, what are they sending him to AAA this coming?
Yeah. I think he's going to AAA. Yeah, he's going down to AAA.
I think seeing him in like larger promotions could be he might have we saw that he was a little bit older, but he might have a future and just like kind of blow up a little bit, because dude, he has a star factor. There's a reason that we posted that gif of him smiling with the crimson mask and the light tubes. He has a star factor, and I think he could be really, really popular.
Like, he had like this like Mick Foley-esque like aura as when we were watching him, and I think that it's like if Mick Foley was like updated a little bit and knew lucha.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an old school Mick Foley.
Like an old school
like
Mick
when
Foley,
he was more of a heel, yeah.
Yeah,
little Cactus Jack action.
Yeah, Cactus Jack, straight up Cactus Jack style. Maybe not in the promos. I haven't seen too many El Gringo Loco promos, but I think I'm gonna look some up. But yeah,
There was a couple promos. I think he even did one on this show, but like the audio quality was just we weren't gonna either hear anything or it was just gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
So we'll have to find some better videos out there for promos.
he's an excellent babyface. We've seen him as a babyface. He's an excellent heel. One problem here was, since it's GCW, he was super babyface last time I saw him, which was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden he's like full on heel, like talking shit to the crowd, like all
tearing
stuff,
off the mask.
tearing off the mask. And I get like maybe like there's that old school thing where it's like, hey, somebody's got to be the heel, somebody's got to be the babyface. But I don't like that inconsistency. I would like to see, if they want him to be heel, he should be heel because he's good at it. If they want him to be babyface, he should be babyface, and he should. He's good at it. He's good at both. So I would like to see some consistency there with the way he's booked at GCW, and I'd like to see him in more prominent spots too.
Yeah, and like Psycho Clown's already been a little bit more prominently featured if you follow more of like the AAA and Lucha side of things, and he also was the one who picked up the win here. I guess if the wins and losses matter. I'm not necessarily sure how much they do in GCW, to be fair, but
I don't know. All I know is they hug each other and kiss each other and all sorts of shit at the end of the match, and I hate that. I mean, like, it's cool to do, like, you have mutual respect for each other, like as a wrestler, you do it every once in a while, but I hate how often that kind of thing happens on the indies. Like, not everybody has to be friends, you know what I mean? And it's pro wrestling. The idea is you're supposed to be conveying a fight. So stop fucking hugging each other. So
yeah, could you imagine like if like the most popular blood feud of all time that just like ends with people like hugging and
shaking
sharing
hands
beers?
and holding, yeah.
Oh.
To be fair,
Hogan versus Macho Man over Miss Elizabeth, they just hug and make up.
Right.
Love you, brother.
They just fucking three-way with Elizabeth.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Next match.
So the next match we watched was Laredo Kid versus Blake Christian.
Oh.
This was also very good. Laredo Kid is also like a kind of a how long's he been around? But he's very good. He's already kind of recognized for that skill. Blake Christian was a guy who was in NXT for a bit. I can't remember his name in there off the top of my head, but we saw him for the first time, I think, in the Hammerstein Ballroom show, and we were really impressed with his match with Leo Rush, and we were really impressed with him here again. These two did a incredible match. Again, very intense throughout the entire thing. Lots of cool high spots. Really good match.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I had just gotten back and I had finally, eaten. I was getting my my wind back, right? And dude, coming in to watch that match was incredible. I've never seen Blake Christian before. I've seen Laredo Kid. I don't know where I've seen him. He just looked really, really familiar.
He was on wasn't he on All In? Was he on?
He was.
Not on. He
Wait,
was.
no.
They've brought him in a couple times.
He was in AEW in the early days.
Mm-hmm. That's probably where I saw him. But seeing this Blake Christian kid, wow. He's really good. He's really clean. He does a lot of really cool high spots. His finisher was nuts. And yeah, dude, this was an amazing match. It was so good. So good.
Yeah, there was one crazy part that we had to fucking rewind like 5 times.
Yeah.
When was it like it was like a hurricane rod?
It was
or something
it was a
where, like,
belly to it was a belly to back. It was a belly to back moonsault.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they were like they were in like a position for like a German suplex on the top fucking rope, and they did a moonsault together, and then Laredo Kid landed on top of Blake Christian, like crushing him.
And
he was all folded up.
And he didn't get his feet out, and it's fine. That's kind of the sloppiness that I love in wrestling. He didn't get his feet out; they were kind of under him, and he just folded up like an accordion, like forward, and it was fucking brutal, and it was so cool. And yeah, we love that shit. And his finish, it was like a different take on the double arm DDT. And it just looked way more devastating and looked just so good. The match was awesome. Thumbs up. So far, this show was just really, really good.
From what we watched.
From what we watched, yeah.
I mean, I can't really comment on the matches we did not watch. And then that takes us to the main event of Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Joey Genoa. I hadn't personally seen Dr. Wagner before. I know he's kind of like a legend in like the lucha scene. He's 56 years old. Honestly did not work like a 56-year-old man. Worked, very well. Very good guy. And I definitely, knowing that he's this old, definitely want to go back and watch some of those older tapes. Joey Janella was great. Had like an awesome Crimson Mask for like most of the match. They did all kinds of stuff. Unprotected chair shots, crazy moves to the outside. Early on, Joey Genoa did this dive that Wagner just didn't catch him, and he just goes flying through the front row. No one, the crowd had cleared, but yeah, this was really good. Just kind of like a classic match. It was a little slow at first when they kind of just spent like the first like 10 minutes just flipping each other off, but once they actually got into the moves, it was a really good match.
I loved how methodical and slow the match was at the beginning. Dr. Wagner Jr. is incredible. And I'll be honest with you, as a student of the game, I have never really watched a Dr. Wagner Jr. match. I've watched lots of lucha, but I've never seen Dr. Wagner Jr. I've always known he existed. He's just like a blind spot for me. And he was incredible, just incredible. And I was just like realizing like just how smart and how good of a wrestler he is. And I was just realizing like, man, like this guy is so good. And he's been around since like the 80s, like the late 80s. And I've never seen one of his matches. And it just kind of made me realize how much great wrestling there is out there that I'm just never, ever going to see just because I just don't know it exists, Mm-hmm. And 100%. But he's awesome. I mean, I'm definitely going to go back and watch some of his stuff. And they worked super, super slow at the very beginning. They took their time. Like you said, they gave each other middle fingers. They worked the crowd. Like he knew all the freaking points of like to stop and take things in, and it was never boring. Like sometimes you watch a match and they starts off really slow and it's kind of boring. You're like, oh, they're gonna go for a while, and it's not bad. It's just slow. This, I was hooked from the fucking get go. Like from the very opening spot, I was hooked. They took their time and they built up and they did crazy shit towards the middle and they did even crazier shit towards the end, and it was like perfectly built. Like another freaking thumbs up, man. And Janella's pretty underrated. You can tell he's like trying to like he's working out. He's getting in great shape. He looks great. Like looks like a cross between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels, and you can tell they trust him a lot to put him in matches with a guy like Dr. Wagner Jr. and they fucking killed it. They were awesome.
This match was insane. I didn't know what to expect going into it because I've never really I've seen a few Joey Janella matches. I was never impressed, but it was early on. So going into it, I wasn't too sure what to expect. The build was really, really good. They had the crowd just in the palm of their hands. It was incredible. And then the high spots, dude. The dive to the outside, on just into the chairs, breaking the chairs. The different they decided to go full construction mode on some doors and the building the chairs with the what was it, the legs sticking up, and them and Joey just crashing through them. That was really cool. It was a really cool visual. And there was just a lot of storytelling in the beginning, and it was really good. It was a great match.
It was violent. The blood. Oh my God, I love blood in wrestling. Love it. And there was so really much blood. Janella was literally like wearing just a red mask, and there was like crazy parts where like, and he knew he's really good. And this is where I wish GCW's production was a little bit better, because in like in a bigger company, you would zoom into some of these moments like into their face, right? And you would get shots of like really close up shots. That's the moneymaker, right? Your face sells tickets in pro wrestling. And there were parts where he was so soaked in blood on his face, and he just had this like nuts like look on his face, and he made his eyes really big, and it was just red, and you just saw the whites of his eyes, and it looked just fucking crazy.
It looked so good. If we had a zoom in on that,
oh my God, it would have been iconic.
It would.
Straight up iconic. And man, there was that awesome dive he did to the outside, and Dr. Wagner Jr. just freaking like walked away and like just swatted him away, and Janella went straight into the freaking chairs, into the crowd, and just crashed hard, and it was so badass. Like, you never see shit like that, because like most companies, they have like a barricade or something like that to stop them. GCW and especially in their smaller shows, they have no barricade, and so Janella went straight out into the chairs, and I can confirm that shit is insane whenever it happens to you in front of you. I have some crazy videos from the last show I went to, and GCW show I went to in Dallas. I
do have a question about that.
For sure.
Do they have you to sign any disclosure or anything that like, hey, you know?
You know, it's funny. Fuck no, they didn't. They didn't care. And that's whatever. You know, it's a very punk rock scene. Like it's a very punk rock kind of show. And light tubes, it doesn't even fucking matter. There was a shit ton of light tubes at the show I went to.
Oh, I'm sure.
And there was blood everywhere, and like people's seats getting fucked up. I remember Schlack bleeding all over the person's chair in front of us, like all his blood like pulled into the chair. It was crazy. And Davey was like losing his lunch. And, like, but it was crazy. But at the very end of the show, they had an ultra violent championship match, and they started off immediately. It was so shocking that like they went crazy. They started immediately, and he swung the light tube, and the glass hit the guy, and it broke, and glass went straight into my face. Like, they did not care. But to their credit, Brett Lauderdale did come out to like make sure everybody was okay. He was like trying to like hold the crowd back. I was like, why even bother? But it's to his credit, he did that shit, and he was out there in the trenches like trying to make sure everybody was all right and stuff like that. Those matches, they do not give a fuck. So if you go to a GCW show and you sit front row, you have to just expect what's going to happen. Your stuff's going to get fucked up. My t-shirt went flying across the freaking room. And then somebody was like, whose shirt is this? I was like, yo, it's mine. And he had to bring me my shirt over here. So luckily I got my shirts back. But, yeah, you can expect your chair to get fucked up. You might have to stand up a little bit during some matches, but you'll be so pumped up. Like there's so much energy at those shows. Like I said, it's like a very punk rock atmosphere. There's so much energy. You're fucking yelling your head off. You're a very active fan, and it's a lot of fun to go to those shows. But no, they didn't make us sign a release.
No, interesting. But yeah, so this was, and we'll talk about this more as we move on to the next show. But this was a good week for blood in wrestling. But of course, it's GCW, so two guys who nearly kill each other, hug and make up at the end. So that was that good match. But again, like just that tiny little thing that GCW, I hope, just kind of abandons over time.
Yeah, I would like to see more continuity, like a fucking comic book or a movie or something like that. I want to see like stuff make more sense, because I think it helps you like. People bond with those characters. Like, you can't say that they don't. People really love the the characters, especially like a Nick Gage. You know, we love them. I love Nick Gage, but I would love to see like more consistency in their storytelling, because that I want to see that character go through their adversity, and I want to see that character triumph over their adversity. I want to see it, but sometimes it just doesn't.